and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you, getting into my paycheck to paycheck budget. We're going to close out paycheck 1 and we're going to set up paycheck 2 so I know where all the numbers stand, what money's coming into the bank account, what money is going out of the bank account. This all represents my checking account and we're going to run the numbers. So let's get started. So looking at the income, pretty much everything stayed the same. This went up 4 pennies. This is where I put the dividends from our checking account. Nothing much. It's just a checking account where everything comes in and out of. And the bank gives us a little bit of dividends for keeping our money there. This stayed the same. And then this wasn't an increase. I don't know why I keep putting pluses where there are check marks supposed to be. Check mark to me represents it stayed the same. Plus means that it went up a little bit, and minus means it went down. So you'll see that in paycheck 2, but for right now we're working with paycheck 1. So I'll go ahead and calculate all these again. All I did was add 4 cents to that, but just to make sure I did my math right, we're going to calculate that again. So I'll be right back. All right, so yeah, it only went up 4 cents. Not much different. My husband gets a military retirement, VA disability, our son pays rent, we get a little bit of dividends, and we get my husband's salary check, and anything that balances forward from the previous month to this month. So that's what I did here. Okay, so these are my expenses here. The expenses here are the bills and some savings, which is sinking funds and a Roth IRA where I transfer money into a savings account. That is changing, so check out my sinking fund savings tracker video when I close out this month, and I will show you what is going to change for the next month, mainly just because of where we've been putting our money. So the only difference from the budgeted amount to the actual amount is here in the water, and that was $50 is what I budgeted, $31.10 is what I actually paid, and that was an $18.90 difference. So basically what I can do here is I can reduce this by that amount, and that should give me the exact amount for all of this. And I'm kind of afraid to do that because I always mess up my number. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and total the column with that new number in it, and it'll work itself out. So that's what we're going to do. I'll be right back. Okay, so that gives us $4,172.25. I think that's right. Yeah, that's what my notes say. So that is matching and we're good to go. And that is totaled up. So now we have to put our expenses for what we spent in our categories. So if you're new to my channel, I have a weekly check-in video that I do every week. And I can find this number by just taking the weekly check-in the first and second week, because that's as far as we've gotten. We've already set up week 3, but this is what we've spent so far. And paycheck 1 is always the first 2 weeks of the weekly check-in. So here we have for grocery household $493.67 plus the $236.45, which is $730.21 for 2 weeks in the grocery household category. And that is how I get my number. I'm not going to go through all of them, but that's just me showing an example of that. I usually do that every week, and just in case somebody's new. So I would write here $730.12, and that is the actual that was spent on a grocery household. Obviously, I had $800 for that, and so we stuck within the budget. When it's above the number, then I know I went over budget. I do know I went over this, and we'll see what that number is in a second. So restaurants, we had 400, and this is where we went really over, and $9.67 in total. We have $136.43 for miscellaneous. For gasoline so far, $127.08. That is higher than I expected just because I went and picked up my father-in-law. It was a 2-hour round trip drive. So that added more gas than what we normally spend. And then we have $54.56 and 0 for unbudgeted. So we're good to go there. All right, so let me total these numbers and I will be right back. All right, so we spent $1,457.86. So we went over by $57.86 in total for our actual spending budget for these categories. Okay, so now I need to know what is the actual balance forward from Paycheck 1 that's sitting in the bank account before the deposit hits for Paycheck 2. Even though I said the deposit already hit, I already figured out the number, so we're good to go there. So I take my income, $6,700.04, minus the actuals. We're working with just the actual column here, $4,172.25, and then minus the $1,457.86. And that leaves us $1,069.93. So that's just a little less than what we planned as a buffer to balance forward, which just means this extra money I spent here is what is causing it to be less than what it could be. And essentially I just paid, I borrowed from Paycheck 2 or the spending categories in Paycheck 2 and used them in Paycheck 1, because spending categories cash is actually already sitting in my checking account at the beginning of the month, and we're good to go there. Now, I need to take this number and balance it forward to the, some people call it rollover, I call it balance forward. I'm not sure where, I think I got that term balance forward in college when I took some accounting. I have an associate's degree in accounting. So, yeah, that's where I got the term from. So, we're going to put that number here, $1,069.93. Now, my husband's salary check came in, and it was a little less than we normally get. Normally, I budget for $1,315 or $1,315, and it was $1,313.45. So that means he went to a specific county that charged a little more tax than others or something like that. I don't know. He pays, my husband's job requires him to pay county taxes, and those county taxes, depending on where he is that month, depends on how much he's paying, and it's a little bit variable when he works. But it's only by a few dollars, not a whole lot, so we're not too worried about that. Now, he should be in the month of July or August getting a pay increase. We haven't discussed exactly how that's going to work until it actually hits the bank account, so you'll see a little bit of a bump up. I know statewide they're doing a 3% raise, and then he's supposed to get a 5% raise after his first 6 months, which is in August. So I don't know what paychecks that are going to fall into, but I'm interested and can't wait to see that. I do not have any other income that I'm planning to come in. I don't plan to transfer anything from savings to checking. This all represents the checking account, so that is what we're doing here. And we're going to total this up with that deposit, $1,313.45. And that means we have in the checking account right now $2,383.38. Now, since my budget and actual are the same, I'm just going to go ahead and write it out. Sometimes it happens. I usually can see the pending deposit and things like that, or it's actually happened like this time because the 15th was on a Saturday. So they gave it to us on a Friday. Now, the other I'm going to leave blank until I know for sure we're not going to get any other extra income in. My dad might decide to give me a check. If you saw my weekly check-in at the very end, I talked about how there was a transaction I paid for my father, a storage unit, A1A mini storage here, and I'm going to leave this $195 that I paid for that and on the credit card statement, and he's going to pay me back when he gets a chance. I don't know when. We'll see. But he's very reliable, and I'm not worried about it, so don't worry about that. All right, now we have Paycheck 2. Okay, so let's get into expenses. We're only doing the budgeting aspect of this. This time, my Geico did not come out before the 15th. It's actually coming out on the 15th. So, my Geico, I don't understand how they decide when the money comes out. But sometimes it's in Paycheck 1, sometimes it's in Paycheck 2. So I've got it here at the bottom. If you ever see it in both places, just know I was just trying to cover being paid in one time period or another, depending on weekends and holidays. So, but first thing I actually have up here is our AT&T, and my notes are wrong. So hold on a second. I gotta go check the calendar because I did change it on here. All right, it's $285.61. Last month it was $285.49. Now it's 61. I don't know. Those fees and things just keep driving me crazy. Okay, electric. That is $152.46, which is pretty good for us. Tithe is $168.18. Life insurance one is for the family. It's $87.56 term life. And then one of my sons aged out, and I got him a policy for $33 for himself. And then not Discovery Plus, USCCA. This is my husband's bill, and it's $39.17. Apple.com is $2.99 for storage on my phone. Discovery Plus is $8.99. And Vivint is $65.82. And then Geico, that's $178.03. Okay, so that is everything as far as the budget for the expenses on our bills. Now let's move to our spending categories. So right now, in the budget, what I have left is $869.88. So basically, I take whatever I spent already out of what we planned for the entire month, and this is what's left. And I'm trying to think. If I take, I don't usually show this part, but I had $1,600 that I planned for grocery and household. So that means food and cleaning supplies and filter for the fridge, things like that. So minus the $730.12. That is the $869.88. So that's how I find that number. I take the total of the month, subtract it from what I did in Paycheck 1, and that tells me what's left in Paycheck 2. We only have 2 paycheck periods. So each step I do is a transition into the next step. It has information the next step needs. So I'm going to write the rest of the numbers down. I have $190.33 in restaurants. What am I writing? Good Lord. All right. Miscellaneous, I have $163.57. Gasoline, I have $72.92. I have notes off to the side here with everything. $45.44 left in pharmacy. And there's not going to be any unbudgeted, and I just put it there because I usually have that a little bit in the buffer in case I need it, and we don't have that this month. We barely have like $20. We actually have less than $20 as a buffer of the checking account as of right now. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. And we're going to find that out right here. Okay, so let's total up our expenses, and then we'll subtract from our income and see how much an estimated buffer is in our checking account as of right now. Okay, so this first, the bills column is $1,021.97. And then this is the cash that's sitting in the checking account for all our spending categories. All right, we're looking at $1,342.14. That is the budget amount. We won't know the actual until I close it out at the end of the month. So today's the 14th. Yeah. So we'll be spending today, I do know that. So the 14th through the 20th, 21st through 27th, that's 14, 15, 16, 17 days. And that means that's $78, $79 a day. Whew. And technically it's 1 and 2.5 weeks. So if I take that budget amount for 2.5 weeks, so that's $536 a week, or $37. So yeah, there's just not a lot going on, or not a lot of wiggle room going on here. So the spending categories are what we're going to have to kind of readjust, since we have been having trouble lowering our spending after reducing our income in half from the beginning of this year. And so let's get this budget amount down. It's a budget buffer. And we're going to take the $2,383.38 minus the $1,021.97 and minus the $1,342.14. Again, just under $20. So we have $19.27 as the buffer currently as of today as in our checking account. So I've not done this in a really long time. If you've followed my channel, you know I usually have a lot more than this. But I moved all the extra income into the savings, and I'm trying to retrain my brain and my attitude of spending, because before my attitude was I budget enough to spend without having to think, but think enough to keep it within those boundaries. And with the holidays and like Memorial Day and family gatherings and birthdays and things like that, and going out and having a bit more fun with the warmer weather, it's very hard to balance that every year, especially in June, July time frame. I think August is a big month because that's our anniversary. October is always a big month for us because that's mine and my husband's birthday. So we just have to keep on budgeting, keep on trying, and that's what I'm doing here. And I know this is all I have to work with. I have $1,300 for the next 17 days, and I got to make it work for my family. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
As a young girl, the fields were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free, without a